Hey, what's up?
Welcome to season number 4, episode number 11.
11.
Teen.
We took a break.
We took a breather.
Yeah.
Because
we didn't let anyone know.
We had to breathe. We told no one. Mm-mm. We didn't. I don't even think we were that aware that we were taking a break.
You know what I feel like?
We traveled. That's what's happened.
Also, no one cares.
No, there's
even my favorite podcasts. I mean, if they don't post, I'm just like, whatever.
Right. No, but what you don't know is there's a big bag of fan mail that I'm bringing in to just now laying on the table in front of you that you just now see.
Can I just say something?
And you're shocked at how many people wrote in being like, where's my cast?
We did really love reading all of your letters.
We did.
Wait, can I say something for
but
real?
But you just learned the letters are real. It doesn't make sense. The timeline's off.
I read the other ones. Can I say something?
Sure.
The only reason I want to be famous on the internet is to get things sent to a P.O. box that I don't have. I mean, I would have it, but I don't have one right now.
Right.
Like, when I watch, because I watch, like, beauty YouTuber people.
Beautubers. Is that what it's called?
Beautubers. They'll talk about going and getting, like, all their PR packages.
Yeah.
That's, like, all I've ever wanted is just free stuff of things that I like.
Yeah. So if you have a makeup company or any kind of company.
Yeah.
And you want to send it to us, you could probably find the Wonder Jim's address pretty easy.
Yes, please send me mail. It can even be your old makeup.
It could be old makeup. It could be just mail.
That's not true. I don't want your crusty makeup. Sorry.
If it's like a nice makeup that you then
as long as you didn't touch it to your skin.
But you could like just cut off the top of like a lipstick or something.
I don't think I would do it.
You wouldn't do it?
No. I think germs
You
can
do
fall
have kind
down.
of like a germs thing.
I'm not a germophobic.
No, definitely.
Germaphobe.
No, you're just like odd.
Yeah. Yeah, I am odd. Anyways, we're back. We're at it again.
We're back. A Dinosaur Story was a movie about dinosaurs that I watched.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch something called Michael Jordan to the Max. I was thinking it rhymed with back.
Oh, right, yeah. What other things do we know that rhyme? Let's get into the problem of the day.
So the problem.
This is in the top of my brain because we've been meeting with a couple of clients who are either in starting a brand new business, like a brand new product company or e-commerce store, or starting a brand new freelancing or service business. Yeah. And they're starting brand new. Like they haven't really got going yet.
Right.
And one of the things that I'm going to say they struggle with, but one of the things that is difficult to figure out is, and this is the problem we're talking about today, what do I do next? Like, what is the next thing that I need to be paying attention to?
Got it.
Why do you think people struggle with that? Is that something that you struggled with when you were starting your own stuff? Or like how...
I think I struggle with it more now.
Really?
Yeah. When I think back to getting started, I think I really wish I journaled, like documented a little bit more, because that's actually really hard for me to remember day to day. Like, what was I doing?
Right.
But I think I always knew what I needed to do next because I'm pretty good at, okay, this is my next task. I think now we have a lot of different things that we want to try doing. So we want to dabble more with, making videos for ourselves or, writing on our blog. I'm currently blogging every day, client stuff, there's just kind of a lot and I do get paralyzed. I do.
Because there's so many things.
Because kind of, when you're like at home and you need to clean like every room of your house, you just end up like sitting, staring. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel now. Whereas before it was so simple that I was just like, I just need to keep doing the work that I'm hired to do.
Right. So when you were starting out, you were so focused in on just making it or like doing that thing.
Yeah. I was already blogging and
you weren't distracted really.
No, I didn't have a lot of other options besides like the few things that I was doing. And I think I've struggled as my list of things that I could do has increased and none of them are insane deadlines or
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But like if you were supposed to start I felt like, yeah, if you were going to start
Yeah.
selling something,
Yeah.
what do you do next?
Like it started happening, I noticed when we dabbled with having our own online store.
Yeah.
Because no one was depending on it. I didn't have to do it.
Right.
And it was hard to bounce from income stream to income stream.
Yeah. It is difficult to know. It can be a struggle to know, should I go pay attention to developing the next product or to sending something to influencers or to paying for online ads or do a photo shoot.
And those
or
should all kind of happen at the same time.
Or send emails or there's a lot of different things you could do.
You know what I do now for myself?
What?
Is I go back to the conversation we had with our friends Brian and Catherine before they designed and built out our conference room that we're sitting in right now, which is still wonderful.
It's not a conference room, it's a magic room.
Magic room. Right. I just want people to understand like what it actually is, and then we can say that.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh yeah, we want to do this and this and this. And we were talking about all the things we wanted to do to our space. And they were like, how do you make money? So think of that. And then let's prioritize the things that help make you money. And I do that now.
And then we leaned in and said, how do we make money?
We've never made money. But I do that now on my, day to day when I'm feeling a little unsure of what to do next. I think through and talk to myself through like how do we make money? And I know that sounds so money focused. I don't know.
Right.
Is that weird?
No, it's not weird at all. I think what we're illustrating is that there's a problem of it's difficult to know what the next thing to do is.
What we're saying is like, can you, who's listening, tell us how do we know what to do?
It's like, what do we do? I think there's a lot of different ways to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing that's difficult in figuring out what to do next is that there's this, for the people who hang out in our world, they tend to be people who they want to be successful and ambitious, but they also want to do things kind of their way.
Yeah.
They care about how stuff gets done.
Yeah.
So if someone showed up to us and was like, hey, if you just design logos in this way, then you'll be successful. You'd be like, no, but I kind of like the way I do a lot of my stuff. You have a perspective, and those tend to be the people who hang out and listen to our podcast and things like that. And so I think there's that is a whole other balance of this isn't just about business success. This is about personal. This is what I want to wake up and do in the morning. This is what,
for sure.
This is like the type of people I like helping. And if I can avoid getting too far outside of that circle, I'd be okay with it. Those things are all struggles of figuring out like what's the next best thing to go work on.
And everybody's next best is different.
Yeah. And I think I just had a conversation this morning and, I've had this conversation repeatedly last couple of days where it's just someone else writes a business book or writes an article somewhere about how to do X, Y, and Z. And maybe that's what worked for them, but for you, that won't work.
Yeah.
Like the same formula won't work or the system won't work. And you need to base your stuff on your own stuff. So what are some ways, from our clients or from you, or what are some ways that you decide to do something, go take an action? What are some ways that help motivate you or get you focused in on, I'm going to do this instead of this, or I'm going to pick here instead of this?
Got it. Self-motivation plays a huge part in the next thing that I do. So,
what do you mean by self-motivation?
There's just some times where I'm just like not feeling it. Like if I'm like, I don't really want to do,
right.
I don't want to work on, I'm trying to think of an example. Okay. So we should start blogging more.
Sure.
As the Wonder Jam. I believe that that's true.
I believe it.
We should start sharing more information.
We have faith that is the true answer.
I have hope that it is a good idea. And I don't want to sit down and publish things that come out of feeling uninspired.
Definitely.
Like, why publish something if I'm forcing it is how I
Right.
feel. But I also
So
believe
there's this
that
gap that happens with us repeatedly, and a lot of people, I think, I know a lot of people struggle with this.
Yeah.
Is that as soon as we go into a popular tactic that we watch other people do,
yes.
or if you went and you're like, okay, so what kind of things do graphic designers blog about? You and I could make a list of those 12 things
For
really
sure.
easily.
For sure.
So you're talking about like Photoshop tips, talking about what colors bring out what emotions. Like there's
Yeah.
all these tutorial type of things that come out,
Yeah.
and you have no interest in making that thing.
Right.
So there's this part. I'm breaking this down because I know people struggle with this. There's a part of you should do something, but like in the way you watch everyone else do it,
Yeah.
you don't resonate. You're not trying to be
Yeah.
that, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I think one of figuring out what the next thing to do would be just what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And how do you want to be helpful? Like you've been on this blogging tear,
Yeah.
and you
Said it
don't
like, yeah.
you don't write like a blogger.
Yeah.
You write like you. There's probably not there's not other blogs who have the tone and voice that you have, right?
You know, I want to believe yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why people pay attention to your stuff. But you don't know that. Like you don't sit down every day and be like, I gotta capture my voice.
Right.
You're just like, I'm gonna tell
If
the
anything,
story.
when we were sitting here, I was thinking blogging for the Wonder Jam feels like I need to build toward this eventual post, like research or whatever, like accumulating all this information. And with my blog, I feel like I'm just writing a little bit longer Instagram post.
Yeah.
And I would like to meet in the middle for both of them.
Right.
Like I would like a little bit more intention in my own writing, preparation.
Yeah. But you've got to have throwaway, like to be every photo shoot you ever do, you take more photos than you
True. Yeah,
publish.
that's true. Not everything's going to be perfect.
And writing is no different.
Yeah.
Graphic design, you like design 80 times as many logos as you share with the client.
Right.
It's true with everything.
Right.
And you got writing wise, you have to have like throwaway stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
And there's oftentimes in that world, in that like educational world, people don't develop throwaway things.
Yeah. Everything is like,
Or like, oh, I got to publish this, got to
overworked
publish this,
or-
got to,
yeah.
yeah. Instead of just being like, I'm going to,
I find that with my own personal photography where we're kind of getting off subject, but I think it's okay.
No, we're not.
Where I don't have any unpublished photography really beyond client work.
Right.
My own personal stuff. I started Death the Stock Photo with my friend David 5 years ago, 2013 and 2018. Because we had so much excess personal photography. And now because I'm blogging every day, I'm always like, I don't have a picture. And that is why I blogged about my relationship with photography and like, what is my next thing in photography to
Yeah.
get back into a love affair with it.
I think it's probably just photos of me. I feel like
True.
as a
A
subject
daily
matter.
portrait of Adam.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think this is all connected. So if you feel stuck, for me, now that I'm actually thinking about it more, it takes changing things up. Like, what's the next thing? If you feel stuck or if you feel like stressed out, my advice to myself and so many of our clients is, you know how you always thought that you would never do this, whatever this is?
Yeah.
Maybe you should try doing it.
Sometimes you just want to grab people by the, I mean, I'm sure there's people who feel that way about us. If we were talking about, hey, these things are
Our
like
struggles,
what
yeah.
we're struggling with or what we're working on right now.
Yeah.
Someone would be like, hey, dummy, just
do
stop
this.
doing this
Yeah.
one thing and you'll be fine.
Or try something that you never thought you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next
I
thing,
think I got it.
try something. That's good if you're stuck. I think if you're just starting out, I think if you're not sure what the next thing to do is, developing the way you kind of hit on it was like finding your own playground a little
Yeah.
bit. And I think if you're just starting out, finding your own playground isn't something that's going to happen until you're doing something repeatedly.
Right.
And so I would start to find a place that you can help the people you want to start to help,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
I'm taking a note of what the title of this episode will be.
Oh, cool.
And if you're listening to it, you know.
you don't.
What about times where the next thing feels financially impossible? So we work with a lot of people who are in the situation where, the next thing is like upgrading our packaging or upgrading, getting a new space, but like financially we can't do it. Do you feel like you should be taking steps that facilitate getting to that point, or is that a sign to like try something completely different? To me, it's like the difference between delaying your dream of the next thing.
Make up an example.
If I had a coffee company called Arter Coffee.
Right.
That's you. And my wife hand lettered all of the packages.
Can we do the Borat my wife sound in that part?
My wife.
And I hate Borat.
You said that, and I was just like, oh.
I can't believe we played that on our podcast. And I wanted to get a refined version of that and get them printed, but right now that's just like not feasible.
Yeah, right.
I can't order 10,000 bags.
Right.
Do I shift my gear to get to the point where I can afford that, like a business loan or an investor, or going to every market and just saving every penny? Or do I just say, this is not the next thing? To me, it's like putting it on hold to accomplish the thing, or saying, hey, you should just try something else.
You're like business coaching me right now, which is annoying.
Weird, am I? I used a fake example that's not real.
Weird.
Because
this is how I think of it.
That's where people get stuck.
The way I think of it is, you have to at some point, you have to spend money, depending on what your business is, you have to spend money to get your business to a place that it can have the profit margin and that it needs to have, so that you can save money.
Yeah.
So coffee, when I buy bags individually, if I buy a pack of 10 bags that you label, when I buy 10 bags, they're very expensive per bag.
Yeah.
And if I buy 250 bags, it's a little bit less. If I buy 10,000 bags, it's way less. So my margin for every bag that I sell goes up.
Right.
And it allows me to succeed faster, or to save more money, or build up more profit, and use that for whatever I want to use it for. That's why people get a business loan, if that makes sense. If you just need a business loan because like things aren't working out, don't do that.
Right. The numbers.
Get a business loan because you're like, oh yeah, if I can get $10,000, I can make 100,000 a lot faster.
I just think I see that being the kind of situation where a lot of people that we talk to are stuck about the next thing.
Yeah.
They see this grand plan, and sometimes that next thing is actually the next 10 things, but not
definitely
next.
Yeah. So with the coffee business, the next thing is to start. I was figuring out my conversion rates as far as like I have a small audience and small email list, and how often do people order, and what does that all look like? What's my conversion rate on websites?
By the way, if you haven't had Adam's coffee, you are a total idiot. Like, that's most everyone has not had my coffee though. I stand by what I said. When I can't have his coffee, I spit on it. I spit on the other coffee.
Into it. That's why you don't like other coffee, because you spit into it first. It's not how you're supposed to drink it.
What is it? Back
wash.
Wash.
It's front wash if you do it first.
Back wash. Front wash on the coffee. It's so insane to me. Whatever.
I only sell it because that's my favorite.
Can you have a podcast where you just hate everyone that's listening because they haven't had your coffee?
Some people who listen to this have had it.
I love you guys.
Yeah. It's fine.
Or ladies. I love you.
Or ladies. Or puppies. If there's puppies listening.
Don't drink too much.
You're a good boy.
Yeah. That's good advice, though. I interrupted you.
So my thing was just, I had to figure out at a small level, does this thing work? And it works at a small level. Yeah. It's not profitable, but the mechanics of it work.
Right.
Like, I was worried that I had people who loved it, and if they wouldn't buy it again, then like if they just said they loved it, they wouldn't actually purchase it every month.
Yeah.
And now I have people who purchase every month, and that makes me
believe in it. Are you mad at me because I say I love it, but I have never purchased it? I feel like I've earned my keep.
You definitely have. You do a lot of work for it.
For anyone listening, that scenario was actually real, and I am not the owner of that company. Adam is.
When you've also invested some of your / our money into it, so
true.
It feels like
true.
But yeah, you got to. I think you just have to figure out like how do I test this, and that's for me. I just wasn't at a spot where I could invest a lot of money and get a roaster or do other things, or get a lot of the upgrades that I needed. And so I was like, I can just keep testing this. And if the Winter Jam does better or coffee sales take off, like one of those two things can happen. And either of those things allows money to get invested into that business.
For sure.
It seems to me it's most likely that the Wonder Jam making more money in the short term is easier than selling like 1 million coffee bags. Right. But selling coffee is what that business needs to do anyways, right. So might as well like work on them both at the same time.
What I would love to say as like advice, if you're in a situation where you have a trust fund or you're like independently wealthy or you've like won the lottery, the next thing is still going to be a struggle, but everyone has.
That's going to be so much of a struggle.
Yeah, because we were talking about this.
It might be harder.
Yeah,
like, and I don't begrudge anybody who.
Also, please send something to my PO box if you're independently wealthy. Like, just please.
Yeah, or if you want to become a partner in a coffee business, we've got one for you.
Yeah. But I just
I've
think
got the math worked out.
That is still a struggle, and so no one is immune to the next thing.
No, definitely. And I think of the client, we've worked with clients who are like scraping by, like pinching pennies and taking care of families and whatever. And we've worked with people who could almost, it would be impossible for them to spend all of the money they have access to. It would be nearly impossible. And I think that there's something about having everything taken care of that makes it almost more difficult to be proud of your work or feel like connected to it in the same way.
You have too many options. So like when I sit down and I'm like, I should blog, I should like vlog this photo shoot, I should work on this design client stuff. Think of all the other options someone with a lot of financial resources has. So it's just, but if you're really scraping by and you don't have the funds to move forward, just know that we're all in it. We're all in that next thing.
I will think this. When you're not sure what the next thing to do is, I'll say this. I won't think this. I'll think it and say it. And I'll say this for the people who have some comfort in their life. Everyone who makes a change in their life or does something different or something new happens, it comes because of a sacrifice or of leaving something that's comfortable and going into something that's unknown. Like every good thing that's ever happened has come from people venturing out into something that felt
uncomfortable,
uncertain, uncomfortable, not promised. Even if that's just creatively like making art or writing poetry that you're not sure that people will like or not, or like just putting yourself out there in whether that's, we've had friends who started businesses who downgraded their house and like sold one of their cars so that they could not have to make so much money and those people take their businesses very, very seriously because all of the rest of their life aligns with their new direction. And I think for a lot of people, if you think through that, like, what do I really want? And then what do I want to trade to get that? And am I willing to trade that thing? You start to figure out what's important to you. And you start to figure out, like, that's my next thing. Is either, like, trade the thing I don't need or take the steps at getting what I really want. It's hard to know, but I think and everyone feels uncomfortable in different ways.
Right.
Like,
there's no, like, formula.
There's other things that feel, everything feels, different things feel risky to different people. And you've got to kind of, my buddy Milo, rapper, who always says, the important part is you leave home. This the whole thing is like, you got to get out and go try something.
Yep. That's awesome.
That's the next thing.
Yep. Just leave your house. Open the door.
Unless for some of you, staying at home is uncomfortable. Then maybe you just need to be there more.
True. Go home.
Just get uncomfortable. Turn your thermostat up really, and it's like hot, and like sleeping or like sleeping. I don't know.
I can't.
Take a cold shower.
Yeah. Do something. Love it. For the tiny business owner who's wearing many hats, working when others are out at happy hour, and trying to make their dreams become a reality, you are one of us. It's why we started the Diamond membership. Right now, as you're listening to this, it is $210 for the entire year. And when you sign up, you get access to basically these themed lesson capsules. We call them capsules. In each capsule, there's 12 lessons surrounding that theme. You get access to a live webinar that takes place at the end of each month and a live Q&A session with Adam and I. You also have access to our Facebook group where people can ask questions and get recommendations. We love supporting everyone in it. And yeah, so if you're interested, if you're a small business owner, freelancer, thinking about starting a business, we would love to have you. You can find out more on our website under the resources tab. In this segment of Gilding the Lily,
we're talking about things that are so much.
Too much.
They're just so extra and enough.
We don't think it's too much to the point where it's...
I want you go first.
Okay. We went to New York last week.
Right.
About a week ago we were there.
Right.
We were just back. And we went to Goods for the Study, which is by
McNally.
No.
Right.
Bookstore.
Yeah.
McNally Jackson. I'm sorry. I don't live in
Rand McNally does the maps, right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about
McNally
maps.
a bunch of maps?
I don't know. Google Maps?
Okay.
And I bought a $7 eraser.
Yeah.
That is the brand, I can't really tell. It's just designed really well, but it's, the company is Seed, and it's called Super Gold High Class, and it's like this gold foil packaging on black, and then when you open it up, the whole eraser is wrapped in like plastic in a nice way, and then there's like this gold casing around it, and it's beautiful, and I'm like, I can't use it.
It's gilded.
It's literally, there's gold all over.
Literally gilded lily.
So it's amazing. I'll post a picture in the blog post, so check out our site.
Yes.
What about you?
So when we were in New York, we went to
Death & Co.
Death & Co., which is a nice cocktail bar. And we had a couple of drinks. I was posting them on my Instagram story, and my people were often commenting and hoping that I was okay because I was posting a lot of drinks.
And really back to back.
But we were sharing them.
Yeah. You were sharing the ones I was ordering too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't just me.
But I was pretty drunk.
But there was a number of drinks that I had that were, all of the drinks were great. Everything was great.
Amazing.
But there was this one that the bartender, mixologist, whatever they want to be called, was craft bartender. I heard in Indianapolis that was what our bartender wanted to be called.
I say artist.
I just say human. Because aren't all humans artists?
No.
No.
I'm just
Okay.
kidding. Yes.
Actually, no. I mean, they should be, but they're not all good. But he got so excited about this tomato liqueur. There was a drink, I'm going to look up the name of it, but the drink had tomato in it. And it was... Yeah, it was called the Mirage. So if you're there stopping by, hit that up. But it had mezcal, and then it has the name of this, what ends up being a liqueur, because I went and did some research on it, but it's Cazotte 72 tomatoes. It just says that as an ingredient. And I was like, 72 tomatoes that's a lot of tomatoes. And so I was like, I don't want a Bloody Mary. Like, that's not like what I'm trying to have.
Not your
And he's
thing.
like, oh no, it's not that. It's like light. And so I went and I looked up that actual liqueur. And so the guy who makes these is world famous for being super uptight about where his produce comes from. So he grows 72 different varieties. So that's why it's called Cazotte 72 tomatoes, is there are 72 varieties of tomatoes on his farm. He picks all of them by hand, de-stems all of them by hand, does everything by hand, macerates them, and then distills all of that for 10 months. Wow. Like, it's insane.
That's extra.
And that drink was nuts and so good.
Yeah.
And Tomatoey
really
in
good.
like a sweet,
Yeah,
beautiful,
'cause
awesome way.
The craft bartender human
Crartender.
gave us like a little shot of it.
Just that, yeah.
It was really good.
It was really good.
So shout out to those people.
72 tomatoes is extra.
Yep. Buy expensive erasers and expensive cocktails, and you'll never
go hungry again.
you'll die. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.